My name is Lonnie, and I'm the Marketing and Communications Coordinator for New Student Family Programs. Today is our webinar for Campus Security and Safety. So we are here with Philip Tyler, the head of Campus Security and Safety. I will pass it on over to him, and he can give you guys some great information on what exactly they do and any services they provide. So I will hand it on over to Phil.
Good evening, Lonnie, and thank you for inviting us. As Lonnie said, my name is Phil Tyler. I am actually the Associate Director of Campus Security and Public Safety. I do have my director here, Becky Wilkie, with me, and she'll jump on when she sees fit for the conversation. But what we'd like to do, parents and family, is really just give you an overview, a 30,000-foot view, if you will, of the services that we provide for your students while they're here in our care at Gonzaga University. And I would add this. Um, we think it's really important that we share this information with you because what we do, how we keep your youth safe on campus here, we don't do it in a vacuum. We need the help of our parents and their families in this. And you can do that through communication and information sharing. You'll get a set of information tonight. You can do that with supporting campus safety measures, encouraging your students to report the things that they see and the issues that come across their educational process here. So let me start by saying, we are here as a resource for your students. Campus security is not a enforcement arm of the university. We are here to make sure your child's educational, learning, and living environment are a safe one. And that is our primary role. We do that through a various number of things. Let me start by talking about our proactive patrol. We have a proactive patrol that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on our campus here. You will see our officers out in uniform, in marked vehicles. We are rolling out a new bike patrol program. Please keep that to yourself. We're going to roll it out as a big launch here coming this new academic year. You'll see them out on foot patrol. And one of the things that you'll find different at Gonzaga from any other university, in my opinion, my friends, is that all of our officers are also engagement officers. And what I mean by that, parents and family, is that we want to engage with their students. We want to get to know them. We want to build a reputation with them. We want to build a relationship with them. And when we do that, we get more cooperation for their safety from our students. So proactive patrol 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on foot, on bicycle, in vehicles, in and out of their residence halls, in and out of their academic spaces. Um, we provide services such as a safety escort for your students. And the safety escort really works when your students are not feeling safe and they articulate a reason for their fear of their safety. We will ensure an officer gets them to their destination safely. That could be via vehicle, that could be via a foot escort, but we're going to ensure that they get there safely. And then we're going to, through that engagement process, as I spoke about, we're going to understand why it is they're feeling unsafe. And then we're going to address those concerns. That might be redeploying our forces in a different way. That might be improving the lighting that they found that was not serving them well. That might be ensuring that the shrubbery or the foliage is cut back so the lighting is not obstructed or those kind of things. So that's a safety escort. Also on our campus, what we provide is a really robust crime reporting system. And when I say robust, it means that we will address any and all crimes or calls for service that your student call us for. Even if that is a service that may be impacting them off campus, we will still guide them through a process of connecting with their municipal partners, whether that be city or our county sheriff's department, and guide them through the process of making that report. Because we believe that every report is valuable to a student, right? Their fear, whether it's realized or psychological or it's physical, maybe someone broke into their property, maybe someone um, um, threatened them or they were in fear. We want to make sure that's addressed. And if we get enough reports in the same area, that helps our municipal partners create what we call a hot spot or a hot zone that they can refocus their patrol areas on. So again, as you can see, it's comprehensive. It's not just taking the report and getting on to the next call. It's making sure we're addressing what is creating that level of concern or fear for your students and your family here on campus. The other thing we do on our campus, we have a very good lost and found system. And it's good because you'll hear this mantra from time to time because Zags help Zags. And we take that mantra seriously. So What I mean by that, parents and families, is that if your student loses something, be it a cell phone, be it a laptop, be it a water bottle, more times than not, that property is going to be turned in to one of our campus partners and ultimately make its way to campus security and public safety. And then we'll put that item onto an online lost and found page where your students can then just log in from anywhere, not the lost cell phone or the lost laptop, but another cell phone, let's say, or another laptop, and they can look for their item. They can type in water bottle, they can type in cell phone, they can type in credit card or debit card, and they'll find a matching item on there. Now, we're campus security and public safety. We trust your students, but we'll also verify to ensure we're getting their property back to them and not someone else's property. So we'll ask a couple questions to identify the property and make sure it gets back to the right person. That's the other thing that we do. We have a great crime prevention and training team. Our crime prevention team will help your students address any concerns they may have. They'll give them tips to keep safe on campus. They'll go out and conduct safety talks upon their first arrival at the campus, at their residence hall, maybe at their academic space, and sometimes at their off-campus residence if they're advanced students where they can move off the campus. We also provide, like I said, with training. We have self-defense training free of service for our Gonzaga family. We conduct that twice a month on Mondays in the evening hours. And it's a great service to really help inform their situational awareness and make them prepared for anything should it ever occur. Now, those things occur rarely on our campus, but it prepares them for doing that. And quite honestly, our students love it. They love our instructors. They love the opportunity to engage with other students that are involved in this self-defense process. Really a wonderful process. The other thing that we do is we really help to keep our parents and our families informed about things that are going on campus. I can tell you this, and I'm speaking for our director because I know my director very well. We have an open dialogue with our parents and our family. What that means is it's an open line of communication. If for some reason you're concerned about your student or some safety issue that's going on, you can always call campus security and public safety, and we'll address those things within the realm of what we can address, right? If it's an active student involved investigation, we can't share certain things because of federal laws, a law called FERPA. But we'll do our best to keep you informed. And we ask you to do your best to keep us informed about things that are going on with your student here on campus because it helps us do better at the work we do. We can't do what we do, like I said, in a vacuum. We need the help of everyone on our team, parents, families, friends, and our students. Um, we have a wonderful app, safety app that our students brought to us about 5 years ago now. It's called Rave Guardian, and we'd encourage you to encourage your students to sign up and download this application, Rave Guardian. Now, parents, unfortunately, you can't download the application because it requires a gonzaga.edu email address, but you can be added as a guardian on this application by your students. Thus, you can be aware of if they're leaving from one destination to another and they don't arrive there on time. It can send a guardian alert to you or others in that phone call system. What I would encourage you to do, parents and family, is to opt into what I call our Zag Alert communication system. This is the way we communicate emergencies that are having a broad impact on our educational and our living operations on campus. Meaning if there was a major storm that hit in the Spokane area that impacted the normal day-to-day operations of Gonzaga, we would send out a ZAG alert to all those persons who are connected to the ZAG alert system. And I will drop a link in here for you, parents and family, where you can opt into the system for ZAG alert. I'll also include a link inside the chat of how you can connect with our website, and you can learn about the various resources and tips and tools that we have for your students that are here on campus. The other thing I would say is we understand that coming to college, if you're student that's coming to college as a first year student, or even if they're not, but they're coming from a different community to Gonzaga and not the Spokane area, it can be tough, right? It can be tough on them, obviously physically from moving from one destination to another, but it can also be tough on them mentally, right? Re-engaging in a new community, connecting and making new friends. And one of the things is at the heart of campus security and public safety, because of our director and her empathy, is that every touch we have with our student has an educational and a kind of a mental health touch to it. Mental health is not a diagnosis, families and friends. Mental health is how are our students doing? How are they operating in this new space that they're in? And as you can see from the lapel pin I wear on my collar here, we engage in those conversations to understand how they're feeling, and then we direct them through a warm handoff to an appropriate resource on campus so they can have the best educational living and learning experience that they can on campus. So that's a unique function of what we do on campus. The other thing you'll find unique with our campus security and public safety officers is that we all have our first names on our name tags. And we do that for a couple reasons. We do that to break down this barrier of authority versus student. We also do that to create relationships. If I'm looking at Alexis or if I'm looking at Jennifer, it seems a little bit different if I call them Mrs. Speck or Mrs. Reese, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, versus Alexis or Jennifer. Same thing if you're addressing myself as a director. Instead of Director Wilkie or Director Tyler, Associate Director Tyler, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself here. It's so much better if you just call me Phil and I call your sons or daughters or your family members by their first name. It really reduces the level of tension right off the bat. And we have seen that since we've enacted this policy on our campus. So it helps us to build those relationships quite quickly. And it establishes a rapport that they're willing to communicate with us more freely than they would if it was Mr. Tyler or Officer Tyler. So that is kind of a broad overview of the things that we offer to our students, but I always like to leave some time in our time together today to answer those questions that might be pressing on you as parents and family members about your students coming to the beautiful campus here. And I'm welcome to entertain any of those questions, as is my director, who's just off to my side here, except any active investigations that might be going on. So with that, I open it up to the parents, and I encourage you to ask those questions. There is not a bad question. There is not any silly questions. All questions are important. And the first parent or family member to ask the question gets a wonderful prize, as a matter of fact. Isn't that correct, Lonnie? There's actually no prize, but I still like to start with whoever wants to go first with a question. I'd love to answer those questions for you. And you can put them in chat as well. I'll monitor the chat. Um, or you have enough faith in your campus security and public safety partners that there are no questions. We like to think that.
I think there are a couple in the chat that I
Okay,
can see at least.
very good. What do you got for me, Lonnie?
Does the security team carry firearms? First
We do
question.
not we don't carry any firearms on campus. You know, we believe our greatest tool is our mind and our voice, right? We have not at this point found a need to do that. We know that some students don't react positively to an officer that shows up with a firearm on his or her hip. So at this point, we do not carry firearms on campus.
And second question, great question. Does Gonzaga have blue light stands?
We do. Great question. That's from Matt. We have 35 beautiful blue lights on our college campus here. And the thing that we share with our parents and family about those blue lights is that they are a great one touch, excuse me, contact for campus security and public safety 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The caveat to that, Matt, is that if you don't know where the next blue light is located, it could delay your contact with campus security and public safety, which is why we encourage our students to download the Rave Guardian app, because that app resides on their cell phones and then it acts as a blue light in the palm of their hands. Most of the time, our students don't go anywhere without their cell phones. So that acts as that blue light, one-touch contact for campus security and public safety. Oh, can I put the name of the app in the chat? Yes, ma'am, I'll do that right away here. Let's see. Oh, and I was just informed, and I should have known this, that our blue lights are getting updated and upgraded on our campus as well. Let me drop this into chat here. This is for the Rave Guardian application. And there's a wonderful, wonderful video on there. You might see someone you know on that video, but it really talks about how the process came to be in our campus. It was our wonderful experiential leadership institute students who brought this to us. They pitched the idea. It was a wonderful idea. We did a little research on it. Our director pitched it to our leadership team, and they loved it. And now it's part of the I don't know, the atmosphere, right? The environment of our campus. Let's see. If a student wants to take Let me read this. Wants to take an Uber, Lyft, or rideshare at night, where do you recommend they wait for their ride on campus? Great question. First of all, I say if they want to utilize a rideshare app, there's a great program on Gonzaga's campus called the DMAC Foundation, and they have a program called Zags Ride Safe. And I'll post a link to that information as well in the thing. And this program, which was built out after tragically we lost one of our students in a vehicle accident, was born out the love of their parents wanting to keep other youth, I keep saying youth, they're younger than I am, keep other students safe on campus. And so this offers 5 free rides on Lyft between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. within a 5 mile radius of the campus. Again, they don't have to pay for those 5 free rides. And part of the program with this Gonzaga Ride Safe program is understanding what is making, again, our students feel safe. And then they're addressing and sharing that with our campus security team. And it helps us then to, how do we redeploy our force? How do we change our lighting? How do we do these things? With regards to picking up a ride on campus, what we would say from a crime prevention standpoint is anywhere that's well lit in a public environment where there's natural surveillance. And by that, I mean other people's eyes, lighting, etc. The campus, inner campus is generally safe, so any location would be a good location to be picked up for an Uber ride. Make sure you're checking those apps, checking the driver picture, and checking the license plate of any of those services. Let's see. What does a blue light stand? Oh, I apologize, Alicia. So a blue light is a freestanding communication source on campus. It's generally affixed to a pole. On the top of that pole is a blue light that is highly visible during the hours of darkness, and it has a call box on it. Some institutions have cameras that are affixed to those blue lights as well. And it's a way of contacting campus security immediately if you're in some kind of danger or need assistance in any kind of way. So we have 35 of those around our beautiful campus. That's what a blue light stands for. Thanks for asking that question. I just assumed everyone knew that, and I shouldn't have. All right. If a student is in a situation where they feel unsafe in a dorm, should they seek help from the RA first? Yes, great question. That came from Allison. Yeah, your first touch, unless it's emergent, should always be your RA or your RD. That's in that campus dormitory area because they can guide you through a process that might aid you without having the involvement of campus security and public safety. Now, from a campus security and public safety standpoint, again, we are a resource. So if you call us, we'll always get there quickly and we'll always be able to address the situation, whatever that situation may be, even if that means calling in our campus partners or housing and residence life professionals to do those things. But they can address the issues through their RD direct or RAs directly without campus security involvement. And we work really well with them. As a matter of fact, we have a training coming up next month with our housing professionals where we do dual trainings, we do exercises, and we talk about this very thing, when to call, when not to call if you want to call. So our partnerships works really well with our housing and residence life, and that's how we do our jobs better on both sides. Great question. Did I miss any of those questions, Lonnie? Firearms. Yes, we addressed that. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Sorry, my older daughter once had a roommate who brought non-student guests into their dorm room. All right. And unannounced. Okay. And we're under the influence. Is the RA the first person to call in the middle of the night? The RA can, they reside in the same residence hall, but you can always call campus security and public safety, right? There's a couple things going on here. Um, if the guests are unwanted by another person in that room, that's a violation of our housing policy. If they're coming in there and they're under the influence, perhaps they're underage, that's another violation of our policy. But those situations with roommates can be handled by an RA, but at any time they can call campus security and public safety. There's not a standard of having to do X before you do Y.
I think right above that question, Tobin asked, what is the most common incident you see at Gonzaga, and what's a good way to handle that as a student?
What is the most common incident we see on Gonzaga's campus, Tobin? Wow. I would say the top incident we see on our campus is bike theft, honestly. Um, and what's the best way to handle that? A, register your bike with campus security and public safety. Now, that doesn't prevent your bike from getting stolen. However, if it does unfortunately get stolen, we have a great relationship with our municipal partners and pawn shops in the local area that if that bike is then pawned, we can get that bike returned to the student. Now, it may not be in the same state that it was taken in, but at least it's getting their property back to them. That's number one, register. Number two is get a good quality bike lock. And again, Gonzaga is unique in my opinion in that we partner with our Gonzaga Outdoors program, and they partner with great bike shops in our community, and they come together to offer bike locks at a very reduced price. Last year, they were $10 for these good quality U-locks. And if you're a biker, if you know anything about bike locks, a U-lock is the way to go, and they usually run about $85 or more. We were offering to our Gonzaga family for $10. We hope to have that same program today. So when you come to campus, um, take a visit to the GU Outdoors bike shop and contact your campus security and public safety office. Let's see. How do students get in touch with RAs or other support staff, especially at odd hours? They have a contact number for those housing professionals inside their residence hall. And generally speaking, they know where their rooms are located inside the residence hall. But there's a contact number for the on-call RA and an RD for that residence hall. Or you can always contact campus security and public safety at 509-313-2222. I'm going to put that number in the chat as well for you parents in case you want to remind your student of that number. It's always a resource. Again, I go back to this. We do not just respond to calls for service. We will address any of those issues that your students may be having situations with during odd hours. So there are no odd hours for campus security and public safety because we're here 24 hours a day. So that's your resource. Let's see, campus security. Okay, next question. These are really good questions, by the way. And you're making me work hard in front of my director over here, so I thank you for that. Okay. Any other questions? When I talked earlier, oh, here we go. Could you please share the information about DMAC? Yes, thank you for reminding me about that. DMAC Foundation, Dags Ride Safe. Here we go. And there are not only are they a great foundation, they're a great family. They are just beautiful people. Zags Ride Safe program. All right, I'm gonna put the link right in here. This will give you some background to the Zag Safe Ride Safe program. And then where's my DMAC cards? I have my DMAC cards right here in my office. But they also hand out cards at the opening day they'll be on campus, and they share those cards and links and information. It's a QR code that your students can and just scan on their phone. I don't think so. If my student had his bike stolen while off campus, how is that handled? Again, if they were to call campus security and public safety, we would guide them through a process of contacting that local municipality. If it was in the county, it'd be county sheriffs. If it's in the city, it's Spokane Police Department, and we'd help guide them through contacting Crime Check and how they make a report of those things to get those back. They would then be issued a police report number, and then the police would do their investigation. If the bike was recovered, then they would contact your student and get that bike back to them, Dan. Yeah. And again, I still encourage them to register their bike on campus, even if it's being kept off campus, because then our municipal partners will reach out to us in collaboration and say, hey, do you have any more information about this bike, Phil or Becky? And we'll say, absolutely, we do. Officer, we have a serial number for you. Are there services on campus that can help with that? What is that, Dan? I think I injected something ahead of your question. I'm going to assume that services that help with that are that bike being stolen. and that service is your campus security and public safety department. Just call that number 509-313-2222, and we will guide you through the process of doing that.
If we're all good question-wise, we might be able to finish up if everyone is good with questions. I'll go ahead and pull up the closing
Oh, there's a couple more coming
presentation.
in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. If my student, yeah, by how's that handled? Okay. And then, okay, oops, many auto insurance providers offer bike insurance, sometimes for free. Thank you for sharing that, Jim. Yes. Are all buildings needing badge entry? The answer to that question is all but two presently. And that is our Hemmingson Center and a singular door there, Jennifer. Hemmingson Center is a major hub of where students meet. That's where our dining facility is. That's where our GSBA offices are. Um, Many departments reside inside there, but there's also public spaces inside there that can be utilized, what we call a Bulldog restaurant. There is a Starbucks coffee inside there, if that's your thing. There's a Ziggy's Market inside there where you can get other than Starbucks coffee if you chose to. And then there's our welcome desk inside that Hemmingson Center. So there are several doors within the Hemmingson Center, but we only leave one door unlocked, and it's a door that we really can maintain a great surveillance on via our surveillance systems in our communications office. And then the other structure that's unlocked on our college campus is Wilson. Wilson Performing Arts Theater. And that is because they also utilize space for community events that go on there, whether that be visual shows, whether that be dance shows, whether that be operas or performing arts that are coming to our community that Gonzaga has collaborated on. And so those are the two structures that have access without proximity cards. The rest of our facilities all require proximity card usage. What I would tell your students is, if you're going into a space with your proximity card, it's okay to enter in and let that door close behind you and require the other students to use their proximity card to get in. What we try to do to the best of our ability, to be honest, parents, is to try to avoid piggybacking. And that is scanning one card and then allowing everyone else to follow in behind you into that space. Okay. Let's see. Next question is.
Also,
Awesome.
on the topic of ZAG cards, on the back of the ZAG card, there's also the number for campus security.
Outstanding, Lonnie.
So if
Yes,
anyone ever needs campus security, it's right there on your ZAG card.
absolutely. Let's see. At the Gel event, the current students informed the parents to be aware of some of the areas in the Logan neighborhood at night. Is it due to incidents of theft? Thanks. So, um, background on the Logan neighborhood. The Logan neighborhood is probably one of the lowest income areas in the city of Spokane. That doesn't mean it's inherently more dangerous or more crime-ridden than any other neighborhood in Spokane. Here's what I'd say. Crime likes darkness. Crime likes time. You get more time in darkness. Um, so I would say, as a general parent, I wouldn't want my student walking anywhere off campus by themselves at night, whether that be the Logan neighborhood, whether that be on the South Hill of Spokane, whether that be in Meade, the West Central area, or the East area. Try not to traverse those areas at night, particularly by yourself. Um, but the question about, is it more inherently dangerous in other areas of the city? I don't know that that's factual based. There have been incidents that occur off in our Logan neighborhood, but they generally don't spill onto our Gonzaga campus. So if your student is moving from a location, let's say from inner campus to the Logan neighborhood, and they are not feeling safe for getting there, we do have a limited access to give them a safety escort out into various parts of the Logan neighborhood. So they can always utilize that as well as a resource. Oh, and I forgot to add that we do work in partnership with our Spokane Police Department, and we hire them contractually to patrol the Logan neighborhood to ensure that those areas don't become targets of theft and those kind of things. But again, Spokane's a growing metropolis. Uh, the broader Spokane incorporated area is about 500,000 now. So we see incidents of crime like any other major city in the nation. I don't know that the Logan neighborhood is any more dangerous than any other area of our city. But we will address those concerns if they're brought to our attention by our student population. Oh, let's see here. If my student partying, and gets caught up and carried away well, okay, hold on. Oh, carried away in underage drinking, will the school notify me? Well, that is a question for our student affairs and our conduct office. Here's what I would tell you about that. If a student, and we're speaking obviously of underage student, because if you're of legal drinking age and you want to partake in alcohol, that's your decision. But if you're underage drinking and it's brought to the attention of our student affairs or our conduct office, there can be consequences to that. That's not the purview of campus security and public safety. Our purview is making sure that the student gets home safe to their residence hall, to their off-campus residence, etc. Now, will we document that? The question is yes, because it's about safety at that point. And we want to make sure our students get the right help that they need. But a contact that would come from our student affairs office, or that would come from our Center for Conduct and Resolution. It wouldn't be campus security and public safety. And that's only if the conduct officer or those agents of the department feel it's necessary. Is there a time where students need to report to their dorms? We heard from a friend that some of the dorms go to sleep really late and they often make a lot of noise during the night. Oh boy. So there isn't a check-in hour for dormitory time frame. I would say, if you got a class at 7, you might want to get the appropriate amount of sleep. And that's where parents come in, helping their students adjust to college life, right? Um, those two things don't go hand in hand, right? Academic success and lack of sleep. We all need sleep to do better in our lives. So there isn't a time. There are quiet hours in our dormitories, and that ends at 11 p.m. and runs till 9 a.m. So there are required quiet times, and that's when they would contact their RA if someone was making a lot of noise, obstructive noise in the residence hall. RA would deal with it first. If the RA couldn't handle it, then they would contact campus security and public safety if needed. But there is no report to your dorm's time. They can come and go as they please. No, no, these questions are difficult, but that's what we're here for, Allison. We're here to answer those questions that may seem difficult to the parents, and sometimes they're difficult for our student staff and faculty to deal with. But that makes us better at our job when we have to address these questions and concerns. We understand, as parents, that it can be really distressing, sending that new student off to a new campus, maybe far from home. But what I can tell you, and I'm completely biased, is that Gonzaga is a beautiful, safe campus. Do things happen on our college campus? The answer is yes. We are a college, just like any other college in the nation, but we do our damnedest. Oops, we do our best, excuse my language, to make sure our students experience, however long they are here, is safe for them, is welcoming them for them, and that they are seen and they are heard, particularly from a campus security standpoint.
Okay, if we are good to go, I'm just going to pull back up the intro slide presentation because it has our future webinar dates on them, so you guys can get those in your calendars.
Thank you for being honest. And well, we don't know that your student will get into any mischief, but if we do, we'll make sure they're doing it safely if that's the case. We want them to enjoy their college experience and their time at Gonzaga, but we want them to do it safely.
All
Thank you,
right.
Kevin. Thank you for participating.
Hopefully you guys can see my screen. My computer is glitching a bit, so I don't know if it's working too well.
Yep, there it is.
Um, Okay, perfect. So as you guys can see, we have our contact information right here. You can email us at nsfp@gonzaga.edu. Our phone number is also attached right there. And then we have the two Instagrams also linked. At Zag First Year is more tailored towards the students, and then at Gonzaga Families tailors its information more towards parents. And then as you can see right next door, we have our webinar schedule. So today was June 25th, and we had Phil here to give us some good info. So thank you for all the great information, Phil. Next up, we have academic success. That will be July 15th at 6 p.m. And then in August, we have student involvement and inclusion, August 11th at 6 p.m. And health and well-being will be August 19th, also at 6 p.m. And I will just type out those dates in the chat real quick if you want to be able to copy and paste them into your calendar, and then we can be good to go.
Or do you want to start rice or anything?
No, I shouldn't have been eating that popcorn. I'm really not that hungry because I was hungry when I got home, so I ate a few of those
There's the dates in the chat right there.
mozzarella and
So you guys
prosciutto
can copy
roll
and paste them
things.
into your
You should just
calendar.
do
And
chicken.
we are all good here. So you guys are good to go. Thanks you all for coming by.
Wonderful job, Lonnie. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.